let's get into it. The Zika virus! Oh no, Mr. Bill!
The Zika virus? Oh no! The Zika virus is a member of the virus family Flaviviridae and the genus Flavivirus. It is spread by daytime active Aedes mosquitoes, such as A. aegypti and Alapictus. Its name comes from the Zika forest of Uganda, where the virus was first isolated in 1947. Zika virus is related to dengue, yellow fever, and Japanese encephalitis, and of course the West Nile viruses. Since the 1950s, it has been known to occur within a narrow equatorial belt from Africa to Asia. From 2007 to 2016, the virus spread eastward across the Pacific Ocean to the Americas, where the 2015 to 16 Zika virus epidemic reached pandemic levels.
We're going to take a mosquito. Little tiny mosquito about this big.
That big? That big?
We'll chop him up. They're literally calling it the Frankenbug. This motherfucker's going to mutate into some kind of horrible fucking bug that's going to terrorize the fucking planet, right? Yeah.
You see, this is my favorite. This is my favorite part about Von Helton videos. My father's videos. I mean, okay. So what he just said is that what scientists are trying to do, they're trying to develop a genetically modified mosquito, the Frankenbug. The Frankenbug. And this thing is going to intermingle and breed with native mosquito populations, and it's going to produce offspring that cannot make it to a big enough state biologically to bite human beings. This will hopefully eventually replace all native mosquitoes with a version that can't bite human beings. To me, it sounds pretty reasonable and logical, and that's what all of the scientists in the world right now are pretty much calling for. This is the one solution that most scientists agree on. Now, the funny thing about Von Helton is that he's going to take something that's mainstream, and he's going to create a contrarian viewpoint about it, because that's what his audience likes. They like the conspiracy nutjobness of a Von Helton video. So, what he'll do is he'll take a perfectly reasonable approach and then tell you about the dangers, such as a zombie mosquito apocalypse or something. So basically, he said that these genetically modified mosquitoes, they're going to turn into a superbug that'll destroy the planet. So let's hear Von Helton's solution, because he says he has a better solution on how to get rid of the mosquitoes. Let's hear that. Oh my God.
It's called the dragonfly. Anybody out there not heard of a dragonfly or what a dragonfly is? A dragonfly's larvae eats the larvae of a mosquito. You put dragonflies out, and you don't have to modify them either. Just put out thousands of dragonflies. I've actually had a dragonfly land on my finger. Why is it that I, your humble correspondent, knows the cure for mosquitoes, but our supposed learned people from Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and Columbia, and all the, none of them could come up with the idea of, hey, let's put more dragonflies out. None of them? No one in our supposed intellectia could have come up with the dragonfly as a solution?
You know what, Dad? I usually vape. But, I had to bum the smoke off my roommate. because the level of just pure stupidity, even from you, is astonishing. Okay, so you're wondering why it is that all the smart people in the world couldn't come up with just releasing thousands of dragonflies, willy-nilly, wherever they want, to kill all the mosquitoes. So, but basically your actual question was, why didn't the smart people come up with a solution? But they did come up with a solution, didn't they? They did. And you mentioned the solution at the beginning of this video. And in order to create a situation psychologically for yourself to where you feel the need to come up with a solution to save the day, you arbitrarily threw the scientific community's solution under the bus without any type of evidence whatsoever. Your explanation for discounting their solution is a retarded pile of crap. Let's go ahead and review what that was. Here it is. Here's what you said. After you mentioned what their solution was, an intelligent, well-thought-out solution by scientists and intelligent people all over the world, your reasoning for why it wouldn't work is this.
Y'all see where this shit's gonna go, right? This motherfucker's gonna mutate into some kind of horrible fucking bug that's gonna terrorize the fucking planet, right? Yeah.
How do you know? How do you know? What are you basing that on? What scientific research are you basing this on? That it's going to mutate into a superbug out of a B horror movie and terrorize the world. I'm wondering if my daddy VonHelton has ever heard of something called a cane toad before. Cane toads are a well-known invasive species. They pose a serious threat to native species when introduced to new ecosystems. And they're classified as an invasive species in over 20 countries. Let me give you an example. Someone had the bright idea in Australia, for instance, to introduce the cane toads because they thought that they would be successful in eating the blackback beetles that were threatening the sugarcane plantations. They'd seen some success in Puerto Rico. So in the 1930s, they released a bunch of cane toads into Australia. And they did the same thing in many, many other, about 20 different other countries. And the result was devastating. Devastating. The beetles that were eating the sugarcane plantations did not decline, because the toads didn't have enough shelter during the day, because this was not the toads' native habitat. Okay, this is not the native habitat of those toads where they usually hunt. So they didn't have the natural vegetation and shading that they require to hunt during the day. And also the beetles tended to concentrate at the top of the sugar canes. So not being very good climbers, they just weren't successful in exterminating the beetles. But however, they were very successful in reproducing in large numbers and causing horrible effects in biodiversity in these local areas by taking out species that were controlling other predatory species and ruining the balance of the biodiversity in the regions. Really? You think your solution is more scientific and more logical than a genetically modified native species? Let me explain to you what happens when you introduce non-native species, invasive species, into environments that they're not natively at such numbers in. Okay, if you want to drop thousands of dragonflies anywhere that high population and densities of mosquitoes exist, they're not just going to kill the mosquitoes, my friend. They're going to kill a lot of other types of insects. Dragonflies prey on pollinating insects such as butterflies, honeybees, other flying insects that help with the pollination of plants and flowers. So I'm going to release thousands of praying mantises into my garden to kill everything. You have to ask yourself, what is it going to kill? Because some things are beneficial to the ecosystem. It's always the bad decision to introduce non-native invasive species as a weapon. It's the worst thing you can do. See, here's the thing. You're not educated at all. You're not educated at all. Please stop making videos with your scientific theories on how to cure world problems. Please. And on top of that, please stop desperately comparing yourself to very intelligent people who know what the fuck they're doing. You don't have any idea what the fuck you're doing. By all means, Von Helton, take thousands of dragonflies and dump them all over your trashy fucking trailer in Kentucky. Luckily, the world isn't going to listen to Von Helton when it comes to this issue. I'm just going to continue punishing evil. You're evil.